Good morning, Morgan County. Woohoo! It's time for our Positive Podcast from the Morgan County Partnership. I'm Mrs. Hott, our Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today's podcast is called When Freedom Sings. Inclusion starts with I.
Hi, hola, es hora de acción positiva. Hi, community. I am Mrs. Sheima, Morgan County Partnership Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator.
Our Morgan County Partnership joins you weekly for an exciting look at positive programs, news, and features to help build empathy, foster core values, health, and family wellness in our homes, community, and around the world.
Whether you're 2 or 92, each new Partnership Positive podcast we will feature fun and exciting information to help you manage and balance life here in Morgan County to West Virginia and beyond.
Yay! And today, neighbors, we are going beyond Morgan County all the way to Alabama, where you're going to meet our special guest today. I'm so excited. We are ready. All right, community. We are ready to discover a new positive core value. Actually, it's not a new value, but it's an old value. But it's our new one for the week. And this will help us, neighbors, to build a network of people working together for communities, helping each other get through another day with resources to help us connect and meet all our basic needs. Are you ready, guys?
Let's get started.
Okay, today's positive podcast, it's called When Freedom Rings. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King. When Freedom Rings, we're just celebrating that holiday this week. School was out here in West Virginia. When freedom rings, guys, inclusion starts with I. And neighbors, today's a special day. I'm excited about today. Thank you all for listening. And if you do want to watch the podcast, I want to add you can also follow our YouTube channel, our Positive Action channel too, okay?
Let's take a look at our new value word for this week as we study a new core value every week and are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on January 18. We had a great chat with a local role model, Stephanie Golden. She is raising awareness to positive body image using self-talk and will soon be reading for us a book called Beautiful on Taki Tuesday Race and Diversity series. Next, as better understand and appreciate each other's experience in order to help build strong communities at school, home, and at the workplace. Inclusion.
That's our word, inclusion, right, Miss Sheima? And you know, it's impossible again to meet today and to chat and to meet and just talk without recognizing and noticing all that's been happening around us, right, neighbors? From this worldwide pandemic spiraling out of control, just beginning to be harnessed with science. To the shaking of the foundations of our democracy, what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. And then, I got to talk about this, to the super exciting inauguration that reflects, for me and for our country, something so beautiful. Neighbors, our woman of color is going to be our vice president. I am super excited about that. And the importance that, we recognize that inclusion. Isn't that exciting? Yes,
Fantastic.
Yes, my heart just could explode with Kamala Harris being a woman vice president. What do you think, girls? Woman
It's
vice
fantastic.
president.
Hey,
Isn't that great for our
tomorrow
our
it's going to be,
I know. I can't wait. Neighbors, we're chatting with you today on Tuesday, January 19th, and the inauguration happens tomorrow. And there's some great things that are positive happening for our country. That this pandemic's going to get harnessed with science, right? I know, right? And
data.
Data. Yeah, things that make sense. And President-elect Biden, I say that today because it's Tuesday, he's got some plans. And what I love about it is that I feel they're talking about values to our new administration. And neighbors, I'm excited for you to see. If you're watching, we have a special guest joining us today. This is my sister, IVI SHAW, coming from Alabama. Ivy, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I haven't seen you in so long. It's great to meet virtually. And you know what? I have to tell you, Ivy, last week for Positive Actions, Sheima and I, we were talking about diversity, and we did a skit with M&Ms, okay? And this skit was like picking colors of M&Ms, and one color is better than the other, but they were all chocolate on the inside, all the same. So I'm excited. This is a beautiful podcast because we are one big, beautiful bowl, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I'm so excited. Yes, we are. And
we're sweet.
I love to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. We
are so sweet.
We are sweet. And because we're sweet because we're so full of love. And that's what it's about. It's love for our children to see. And I really got to tell you, both you girls, okay? Sheima's been doing this with me for a number of years for Positive Actions, but for West Virginia, for Morgan County, and I just want to be frank, I grew up, this neighborhood, this community is largely homogenous. You know, we don't have exposure to people of color, people from other countries like Sheima. Not a lot of people go off to college and get an education. We're going to talk about that soon with you, Ivy, and also Sheima, and their experiences that they bring to our children and what we can talk about with Positive Action. So this is beautiful. This is diversity, and this is inclusion. You know? Yes, it is.
This is the world.
It is the world. I know, right? Let's take a look at it and embrace it.
Yes.
And bring it all together. And I'm just thrilled about Kamala Harris being our vice president. Can you see my sneakers back here, Ivy?
I love them. If I was there, I would put pearls on them because I like sparkly things.
That's right. Ivy does like. Well, Kamala has some sparkly things on hers. I noticed that she just seems real. I felt like because I saw this. In case you guys may have not seen it, CBS Sunday Morning, they talked about how down to earth, and she is photographed a lot in her Converse sneakers. And I went, wow, I have Converse sneakers too. So we're looking for ways to connect and include each other, and it brings hope that we're all alike. We're all sweet on the inside, like you said, Ivy.
Well, I will
Sheima,
say this. One thing, if we could, tomorrow is supposed to be a day because she loves pearls. So if you got some pearls, make sure you put them on and represent her. She's gonna have her pearls on.
How do you know that?
Yeah, she's gonna have her Converse and her pearls. So tomorrow's supposed to be a pearl day.
Oh,
I'll have to tell Violet.
Yes.
I'll have to tell Violet too. I'll have my pearls on. I should have worn them today. I have some that my dad got me when I was 16. Yeah, and the girls wore them for their graduations. They've been around. And I think I wore them I did. I wore them at Katie's wedding. That was a long time ago. But
See,
wow.
But look, and tomorrow's going to be a special day also. You'll be able to wear them then.
Yeah. Hey, see, that's another thing. Something that connects us and includes us and brings us all together. Sneakers and pearls. Wow, what a great combination. So we're going to meet a role model today. Neighbors, you've heard Ivy with us. She's a role model for me. She's a woman of faith, of love, of character, of strong value. And we're going to get to hear about how Ivy uses positive action. So let me see where we are here. I'll introduce Ivy. Ivy has been to West Virginia in the past, okay? And I know you're in Alabama now. She, let me see, you sent me this. You have graduated from Jackson State University, and I follow you on Facebook, and I see all the great stuff when you have posts from your alma mater. That is so cool. Ivy studied chemistry.
Yes.
Science. Here we go. Yes, science. And Ivy also has an MBA from the University of Phoenix. MBA, my daughter Katie Bug, she has an MBA also. And you know what? Ivy's been in Maryland, I know, in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and now I know your kids and your family, your parents, and are from Alabama too.
Yes.
So Ivy, welcome. Here's a big virtual hug. Say hello.
Hello, Morgan County. Hello, West Virginia. I miss being there. I like visiting and seeing the mountains. They're wonderful and beautiful.
What's it like? Are there mountains in Alabama?
There are. Hey, we have the Appalachian Mountains down here also. It looks very similar to West Virginia.
I didn't realize that. How about that? So tell us a little bit about what are you doing in Alabama? We're super blessed to have you here for sure, and it's just beautiful to see you. It really is.
It's beautiful to see you.
Oh, thanks. Fill us in. Tell us, what are you up to now? Like, I know there's a pandemic going on, and I know, how are things in Alabama, and what have you been doing? What keeps you busy?
Well, I'm a lifetime career scientist. So I'm maneuvering my life like a scientist. Every place I go, I social distance, I wear my mask. I manage a microbiological lab along with chemistry labs all over the country. So every step I take is just like being in a sterile environment in the lab, because down here, the numbers have been going up. They're finally, within the last week, sort of going down. But I've known so many people who have passed away in this area from COVID-19. So it's been, I keep my, my sterilizers. Like I said, I've facilitated, managed, and directed laboratories all over the country. So that's how I live my life here, to make sure that I stay safe and my family stays safe. And people that I know and even don't know, I tell people on a regular basis, this is what you need to do. This is a regimen you need to make sure that if you do get it, you'll stay healthy. And if you stay on that same regimen, you won't primarily get it. So, and right now I'm working.
You'll be more stronger. You're immune. I'll add, because Ivy told me, neighbors, when did you texted me early on in the fall about zinc and vitamin D and aspirin. And we're isolating aspirin. Yeah. And there's another herb. I can't remember what it is. Elderberry.
And vitamin C.
Right. And so in our house, like, I ordered some for Violet and sent it to her in New York. Here. And I got this call. Mom, did you send me vitamins? Yeah, that's me. And Ivy said, you need to take this, Violet. But neighbors, honestly, Ivy knows what she's talking about. The science behind this. Stay safe.
And Angie, I will tell him, I am and have been for many, many years a pharmaceutical scientist. And I've seen the generic drugs or pharmaceuticals, brand name. I've seen the clinical studies, and I know a lot. And right now, because of how passionate I am to make sure that everyone in this country and the world are as safe as possible, I try to do my best to help. It's not just about my family. Yeah, because we're all included. To my inclusion, we're all including as brothers and sisters on this globe. And we have to love each other.
To help each other, be healthy and show that we care. Right, exactly. Ivy, Sheima and I were just working on the virtual value lesson for K through 5. And we talked about positive actions for inclusion and help each other. Help everyone. And don't look at what you see on the outside. It doesn't matter where they're from, what country, what religion, what color they are. Just help people. We're all humans, right? Yes. And inclusion starts with I. Yes. And it's beautiful to see. And I think here in Morgan County, it's great to watch you tell us this. We need to hear all people say it's helping. We want to help you, and we want you to help you, and hopefully it works like that. Because when they're little, I mean, as a teacher in the school, I see it. Oh gosh, I remember an 8-year-old like, I'm not going to play with you, like because an 8-year-old didn't have a cell phone and this one did. And it's like, really? You're 8. And so you're going to exclude her because she doesn't have a cell phone. So it doesn't always have to be what color you see on the outside. Sometimes it's what stuff you have, It's like, why are kids? Help, just help.
Well, Angie, you might find it ironic where I grew up in this area. It wasn't, people think that Alabama is a quote unquote, can be a place that's a lot of racism, and there is, but it was more because it was very, very even as far as colors, as far as middle class, upper middle class. Everybody had pretty much the same thing as far as monetarily. So it went from not being anything dealing with race to more being classism. So I didn't have to fight it myself, but I have fought other people for trying to put somebody down for not having something. It's like, no, we're not going to do this. If you're going to be my friend, we're going to love everybody here, because people we can't choose how we're going to be born. We can't choose that we're going to be born rich, poor, black, white, green, yellow. We're just born the way that we are. And at the end of the day, we're all created equal. People might not want to believe that, but God made us all, and we're all created equal, and he loves us all the same because he made us.
Right. And you know, Sheima and I, we work hard telling everybody you're unique and it's by no accident, and you're wonderfully made. And I love that. That's right out of scripture. And thankfully, my principal at the school allowed me to say it, and I still say it as many times as I can. God made everybody, and on the inside, He loves them. On the outside, He loves them, and He makes all things beautiful. And you know, some kids get upset, like, I mean, maybe it's a physical disability, or you know, born with things that they don't have the same achievements. Everybody has different achievements and abilities, but God loves every one of us. And that's by His example, we include that's what inclusion's about. Every one of us, right? And it's exciting, you know. Think how boring it would be if, you know, all the M&Ms were all orange. You know what I mean? You know what? It makes it such a beautiful picture. And Sheima made that analogy with the rainbow. Hey, I was thinking about this. The rainbow has all different colors. Remember when you said that, Sheima? And I thought, well, there's science behind that. There's a reason why each color is a certain color. Isn't that cool? Because it has to do. Cool. Yeah. So that's why we see orange and yellow and green in the rainbow. And because they all come together to be beautiful. So God knew what He was doing. He put us all together to make it the right. It's like the puzzle all coming together. Before I forget, Sheima, don't let me forget about that question from Spain and your driver's license. Okay, but I want to ask Ivy something else. I got a real important question, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. So just hold on. It's a thought that I never even realized, but all right. But before we go there, okay? All right. I want to go back for a sec, Ivy and Sheima, and Vice President Kamala Harris and her achievement. What does that mean? You both have girls. Sheima has a girl, and Ivy has 3 and a son. So what do you feel like that her achievement means for you as a mom and to our kids?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. For as far as me having daughters, her being a woman, and at it being a woman of color, I know that they can see her and say, you know what, I can do anything. Just like she became vice president, I can become vice president. There's nothing stopping me. I'm just as smart as everyone else. I'm just as good as everyone else. And I can do it. And it's just such an exciting thing to see. I mean, tomorrow, her walking across and getting, you know, inaugurated in. I mean, we're all capable. We're all smart. We all can do, if we set our minds to it, put the work in, because she really it's a lot of work that came into becoming vice president. It just didn't come like yesterday. She's like, oh, I'm gonna become vice president. She was smart, she was dedicated, she was consistent. And I teach my daughters, okay, be smart, be dedicated, and be consistent, and work hard. And you could do all things. So I'm very, very excited. I can't wait to see her. I can't wait to see her smile. I can't wait to see her walk. I want to see her walk in her Chucks.
Yeah, and her Chucks, right? So do I. They're all blinged up too. She has buttons on them and stuff like that. That's pretty neat. And they're painted. I think it says Boat 2020. That's pretty cool. And it's for me. I find a lot of hope after the what we've watched happen and unfold. I feel like there's hope that that she was voted and put in office, and and you know what happened in Georgia, where all of a lot of young people voted, a lot of people of color. I've got Violet will soon be 21, and I got teenage boys. They can't wait to vote, and I feel like, hey, look at what people have said, and look who's going to be president now. Right. We hope for a more positive future.
And I think our children can see the power of the vote, how they can make a change in this country. They mean something.
Ivy, can you tell that story for me? You told me on New Year's Eve about when you went to vote and how it was different this time. Like, because Dan and I, we voted by mail because we were concerned about, we don't want to expose Dan as much as possible, but and we probably don't see that here in West Virginia. But and I'd like to hear that experience because it's exciting, Sheima, to help us understand. Can you tell that story?
Well, when I decided on one Friday to take a half day and go do early voting in Huntsville, Alabama, at the courthouse, got there, and first of all, it was college students on the outside trying to explain exactly what you had to do in order to vote in person. Of course, we had our mask on. I walk on the first floor. It is packed. People are standing in long lines trying to vote, early vote. It's like, and it was so, it's like, okay, we got to get this done. It was, I mean, a lot of people. It was so many people. They was like, well, you need to go up to the 6th floor. I got up, I went on the elevator up to the 6th floor. The 6th floor was packed. People had been standing in line, like, we're going to vote. And once they got their ballot to actually vote, it was like, okay, everybody read their instructions, made sure that their vote counted. It was just like, it was honestly just such a proud moment that people took their time out, took off from their jobs just to make sure their vote counted. Because they knew at the end that their vote could make a difference.
And it does, right?
And it does. Yeah. And everybody was it was just amazing. It was like historical for me. That's I mean, cool. Like I said, it was people everywhere. Lines were outside. It was just like, people are everywhere. And this was like a month before.
Wow.
And had the mask, social distance. What'd you say?
All the build up to that was a month before. And then, there was a pandemic happening. So I think as far as, as a country, getting that together and organized and finding ways to do things, innovative. And that,
right.
Coming up, we talk about intellectual wellness a lot and what positive actions can we use to solve problems and find solutions working together. And I think that was a great illustration of positive actions by many people.
It was a beautiful, I mean, especially to see those college students all charged up. You need to do this. Your vote has to count. And they were telling people how, this is what you need to, So it's just like, everybody was just so pumped up and being a part of, I wouldn't say a change, but just to make a difference.
Right.
Because some people don't want to see a change, but
that's true.
To know that you did your part for what you believed in, that means a whole lot. And I could see it in people's faces. I mean, I saw people who like they were in their 80s and all the way down to 18-year-olds. And everybody was like charged up. And it's like, okay, this is time. It's time to get this done. We got to do what we got to do.
And, not to be political, but to be political, it's an inclusive process, right? That's what democracy is set up. What was that quote I read yesterday? Including everybody. Everybody's vote is important, and we need that diverse vote, that diverse voice. But what was you guys might be able to help me here. It said, not your voice is inclusive too. It's part of democracy. And when I'm excited because I want to see love added to that too.
Right.
That's part of democracy. That includes everybody. And when I might have to find this quote for us, Sheima. I saw it yesterday, but something that Dr. King said about love being real, like the foundation for democracy, that build it on that. And then, it's got to set the foundation. And like I asked you, what does Kamala Harris mean for our kids? I think that bringing love back,
right?
That's where my heart goes. Put some love in there, people, and then we can't go wrong, right? That's
right. And I'll say, hey, I think we sort of talked about this before, sort of, kind of, love and empathy, because a lot of people say they have love, but they're not empathetic. They have love among themselves and, their family and everything. But to have empathy is to see someone that you don't know and want the best for them, just as you want it for yourself. Even though you might not know anything about their background or anything, it's just empathy. And I think that's where, that love and empathy, we can find that and get that back. Our country would be a wonderful place. All the disagreements, and it's no time for that. It's no time for that.
Yep, to really be able to put yourself in their place and be willing to consider that other person's experience.
Exactly.
This summer, Violet was home and she told me about Michelle Obama's new podcast. It's probably not new anymore, but one whole episode was all about empathy. And Sheima and I, for Positive Actions, we have a whole week when we talk about the word empathy. And I had a teacher, this had been a couple years ago, say that, you know, our kids don't understand it. That might have been the principal, you know, how to really consider another person's experience. So we make sure we try to focus on that. And I've looked up, you know, empathy. It's not like it's a new concept. It's actually, I think, it's theological. I mean, God put that there. Empathy is how He set things up, you know. And I think when like you mentioned too, to really experience someone else's what it's like to be from a different country or of a different color and stuff like that. And that's why I was reaching for this book. This I read over the summer from Reese Witherspoon's book list. It's called I'm Still Here, Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness, Austin Channing Brown. And she talks about empathy. This is fabulous. And a lot of read it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really good. Actually, Violet read it chapter by chapter. It's on PositiveValuesNetwork.com for high school. If you want to listen, .com. If you want to listen to it.
Hey, that's better.
It's pretty cool. You can read audiobooks from the Morgan County Partnership. But, you know, I don't think that, and that's one reason that Sheima and I wanted to invite you with us today, Ivy, because we don't get to talk. We're, like I said, Morgan County, largely white, largely homogenous. Sheima's the only person from Spain within miles, you know what I mean? But if we say, look, and we have a series on Tuesday, Race and Diversity, where we read books about race and diversity. February coming up is Black History Month, and there's a great book. I can't reach it. Well, maybe I can't. Here's another one. Little Leaders in February, Bold Women in Black History. And a teacher said to me this, Ivy, and I know it's almost time for us to close. We're going to run out of recording time. But a teacher said in her classroom, she didn't have enough literature for she had like one person of color, one child, it was a 6-year-old. And then she didn't have any books for that were about girls who are black or girls that have, you know what I mean? Yeah. So the partnership bought me the PBS series, and Violet read all those books. So, and then I had a mom just this week say, my boys, they don't get to experience or hear the experience of people of color. So I feel like as an educator and a facilitator of a positive action program, if we make this available, my goodness, I read this and I never knew how brave these women were. And that's to come back around. That's when I went, empathy. Look at the guts that they had. I
know.
To do what they did to, it's just amazing. Like, I mean, this is the woman she's on an astronaut.
Oh yeah, we have
Mae Jemison.
Yeah, we have her picture, and I know
she was actually born about 10 miles from here.
High
school. Yeah,
that's cool.
They have a high school. The high school that I went to in Huntsville, they renamed it Mae Jemison High School.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. There's a building in Fairmont called Katherine Johnson's building. It's a part of NASA. Yeah, and she's another West Virginian of color.
Well, I need y'all to come down here if y'all want to meet, because I have a lot of friends who are astrophysicists, who are engineers, who are, physicists that are people of color.
That's wonderful.
High school together. Yeah. Science and tech, it's very high tech here. So.
Yeah. I can see you're in your people, the science whole field, goes beyond my brain capacity.
Yeah, the creative. You're creative.
That's true too. And I look at you smile. I think that, it's neat. Maybe someday we can Zoom with your friends and your colleagues, and they can inspire, because we have, in our classroom in Morgan County and throughout West Virginia, the counselors are sharing the videos and listening, and what a great connection to get connected to people.
Yes.
And when we start connecting, then we can start sharing empathy and sharing love and making it work that way. Goodness. No. Now, can you think of anything? Any advice for us? What positive actions should we share for inclusiveness? What do you think?
Well, I think you stated the most important is love and understanding and empathy and kindness and respecting. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
That's it. It's that simple. Thanks, Ivy. That's awesome. And when we close today's podcast, we're going to listen to Leslie Odom Jr., who will sing the song called "Listen." And I think if we leave the neighbors with something, a willingness to be open and just listen to another person's experience. I know I've listened to Ivy as I've come to know her, to share her stories about her son and what he's going through and the girls in school and stuff like that. And Sheima's experience coming to get a driver's license and why you need to know more, listen. Okay. And I think if we start listening, then, we'll hopefully melt some hearts and because it's
well, Angie, because I know you got the song. It's just like the Eminem. We love the same way, we cry the same way, we bleed the same way. We are the same. We have the same concerns for our children. We have the same concerns from our mothers, our fathers. We all love the same. We're the ones who get it in our minds that we're different. No. If my mom gets sick today, I'm gonna be sad. Just like if your mom got sick today,
right?
We gotta look at it that way. We have to look at it all that way. So we're like the M&Ms.
We're all human.
We are sweet as chocolate.
Yes, we're sweet like the chocolate.
And inclusion begins with I, just like the video. It begins with I, and I really believe empathy. When we start to experience and be open to listen to other people's experience, it's got to come. Inclusion, and this is what I want to share. Neighbors, listen up. Inclusion is the practice or policy, of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, such as those who have physical or mental disabilities or members of other minority groups. Inclusion. So that's a practice where we include for people who might be marginal or might not have the opportunities, or sometimes, as we see a lot coming out, the system doesn't allow as many opportunities. That's hard stuff to talk about, isn't it?
It is.
And I know for older generations, I don't know that they'll ever believe that there's been systematic problems that have generated gotten us here today. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we can instill values in our kids to love and have empathy and reach out and help someone. Right. Don't look at they're all humans. Like we were saying earlier, don't look at what you see, just look at them as human.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
There you go.
Do not be afraid to ask questions. And also do not shut yourself down when they get ready to answer those questions. It's like, I don't want to hear that. That's not what I wanted to hear. Like, no, listen.
Here we go. Just like Leslie Odom's song, listen, right?
Angie, we all have a purpose to make this world a better place. And the more we talk and the more we love and the more we listen, when we're sisters, hey, you can ask anything.
That's right. We're sisters.
Anything. It's all about love. It's all about love, appreciation, kindness, and respect. So
right. I love it.
We've been I've been thinking a lot about Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream speech, and he said that his dream is that when children of color will come together and not judge by the color of the skin, but by the content of
their character.
That's one of my favorite things, because I feel like part of our purpose is to help children grow that character. Let's take the hate out and let's put the love in. Right.
That's right.
We can do it. And you know what? I'm excited you agreed to come, and I'm excited that as a partnership we get to share these values with our community. And I'm thanks for coming. Well,
that was awesome. A big thank you for all to joining us, our community. Hey neighbors from 2 to 92, young and old, it's been fun podcasting with you today. We hope you found some positive actions out in the world this week. Bye.
And remember, neighbors, parents, kids, Ivy from Alabama to West Virginia and beyond. Okay, guys, you're not alone. But sometimes in this pandemic, it feels like, oh my gosh. And you know, sometimes watching the news, it's like, I'm never going out of my house again. Okay, but we're not alone. We are here. We're together. We're one community, all inclusive. Each one unique, important, and wonderfully made. Okay, don't you forget it. Ivy, you are wonderfully made, girl. You too, Miss Sheima. All right, thanks for joining us, neighbors. And remember, when freedom sings, thank you, Dr. King, inclusion starts with I.